Believe it or not, the Amish do celebrate Valentine's Day, although probably not the same way you do, because I don't think Dad has bought a flower in his life, and he has been married for 24 years. Today we're gonna make sweetheart pudding while I tell you what we use this for. You start by putting some milk on the stove, and we're gonna let it come to a boil. And while that's coming to a boil, we need to crush up some graham crackers because we need graham cracker crumbs. And before I crush those up, I'm gonna put some butter in this little cast iron pan, and we're gonna put it on the stove to brown it. And we're gonna crush our graham crackers. Now we made this pudding every year for Valentine's Day, and the reason we did it was for school, because school is the only place my Amish ever celebrated Valentine's Day. And they have private Amish schools where only from 1st grade to 8th grade go to school. So every year they would exchange names, and then they had to keep that secret, and whoever's name they had to gift them their lunch. And they pack lunches every day for school. They don't have a cafeteria or anything, so on Valentine's Day you just make something special, and for us it was always this sweetheart pudding. So when you got dismissed for lunch, you'd have to go get your lunchbox and put it on the desk of the person whose name you had picked. And they pick names randomly. They just take little papers and put names on, and then they have to pick one without knowing what it is. And they would also make little valentines for each other like this, the ones that fold open and shut. I made this for my husband. Theirs were always appropriate, not like this, but that's what they did for Valentine's Day. But anyway, once your butter is brown, dump it into your graham cracker crumbs with the brown sugar. And then we're going to use either a fork or our hand, and we're going to mix that all together. As soon as you have it all mixed together, dump it into a 9x9 square baking pan. We're going to spread that completely out and pat it down as hard as we can. And this is supposed to be a thick crust. If you want to, you can make it come up the sides a little too. Then we're going to set this aside. And we're going to take a smaller bowl, and we're going to put in some sugar. Then add some flour. And we're going to whisk that together. And we're going to take a bigger bowl. And we're going to put 4 eggs in here. And we need to separate these eggs, so make sure your yolk does not burst. Now we're going to take this and fish out the yolk, and we're going to put them in the flour and sugar mixture. Now we're going to set the egg whites aside for now, and we're going to whisk those egg yolks in the flour and sugar mixture as well as we can. And you will probably have to add milk to that. Make sure you do this right so it does not get lumpy, because if it gets lumpy, you have a mess on your hands. Gradually whisk in all of your milk. Once you have it all whisked in, your paste is done. And now, because I have my milk on low, it still has not come to a boil, so we're going to make a meringue with these egg whites. You take the egg whites and you add some cream of tartar, and then you beat it up until they're stiff. Once these are whipped, we're going to take some sugar, and we're just going to add that in there. And also dump a little bit of vanilla in. And we're going to whip that up until it's all glossy and stiff. Now once it's all stiff and glossy, we're going to set this aside. My milk is boiling now, so we're going to whisk in that paste. And as soon as you have it all whisked in, we're going to keep whisking it and keep it on the heat and whisk until it turns thick and starts boiling again. Now once that is boiling again and is thickened, we're going to take some vanilla and add it in. And we're just going to whisk that in. Once you have that all whisked together, it's time to take it off the heat. And we're going to pour it into our graham cracker crust. And now you're ready to put your meringue on top of that. Once you have that all spread out, it's time to stick this in the oven to roast the meringue. Once you have that all toasted, take it out of the oven, and then we're going to let it cool down completely. Once your pudding is all cooled down, you're ready to cut a piece out. My younger sister got married yesterday. She's still Amish, and we were invited if we stayed Amish once we came back for the wedding. So obviously we did not go. This is what the pudding looks like. I took it out kind of rough so it fell apart a little, but we're going to take a bite. Yeah, so delicious. It's a very simple and plain pudding, but it is so delicious. If you guys want this recipe, it's under Amish Sweetheart Pudding in my Amish cookbook if you click the website link on my profile. And my cookbook is on a Valentine's Day sale right now, so make sure you get it while it's on sale. Happy Valentine's Day. I love you all.